Give a big round of the hand. Give a big round. Give a big round. Give a big round. Give a big round of the hand. Give a big round. Give a big round. Big round. Give a big round. Give a big.
We could have homes on separate coasts, go dive in Greece with squids. Could have been so bleeping rich, but instead we had kids. They won't smile for a photo, they won't eat the food we choose. That's why we're heading to the Parents' Lounge to drown ourselves in booze. Every day we're more exhausted, we haven't slept in years. They hit me in the nuts so bad, my eyes filled up with tears. And yes, we'd like to fake our death and go off of the grids, but the truth is we are softies and we truly love our kids. So join us every Tuesday night to laugh at all our pain. Evening in the Parents' Lounge is the cure to staying sane. Welcome to another edition of the Parents' Lounge. I've got my very loungy voice on this evening, and it's coming on strong. We have an
I just went from 6 to midnight.
Yeah, you did. Everybody out there got a little al dente to go like, hello, my favorite people. We have a wonderful show tonight. Our guest tonight is Max Gadsden, who, honestly, it's just Max. He's the man, the myth, the legend. He's got a lot to talk about tonight. He's one of our favorite people. We're going to get into some wrestling, a lot of stuff. And apparently, he decided to bring his mom, which is so cool of him. It's always great. I love, as a son, I used to bring my mom to see stuff I would work on and stuff. And apparently his mom, I believe, is an actor of some acclaim. Oh, now that I'm looking you up, I'm going to read all 246 television credits.
Which only 10 of them is real. 10 of them is real.
By the way,
like 90% of it's actually real.
Credits. She's famous for the Goldbergs, a million other shows, but mostly I would say Austin Powers is where you get recognized the most. One of the funniest people I've ever known and the sweetest, and I love seeing you live at the Groundlings, and you are a screaming legend. Mindy Sterling is here tonight. Woo! But of course, she's really just here to support Max. That's really the mainstay of everything that's happening tonight. And of course, I'm Jamie Kaler, Jason Gowan, Kate Mulligan, and Justin Ruppel from the Parents' Lounge. We have a fantastic show tonight. Jason, why don't you do the honors for young Max there?
Max, how you been, first and foremost?
I've been doing pretty good. Been working on my health a bit for the past few months, but I've been feeling much better than I have been earlier this year.
Oh, good.
Anything we could adapt? Anything we need to start doing that you've seen some success with, Max?
No, just the typical stuff. Me just not needing to take better care of myself as I get older.
That's all of us. Trust me. I'm
well, Jamie's sick, so.
Sick
that's plainly obvious.
It's so weird because it's so weird because normally when you have little kids running around the house, you never get sick, right?
Yeah.
Oh, never.
It's so rare that you get sick when you have kids, and especially right when they go back to school. It's very, very rare. But yeah, you should, Jason, do me a favor, give a little backstory to Max and his wonderful mom, and let everyone know why they're so special, and especially the links that you have with them.
Well, one of the things that, one of the reasons, first of all, I love Mindy's work, but Mindy and I have another special connection in that we both have children who are on the spectrum. And I am very excited to kind of explore, because I know for us, we are finding that to find resources for kids in the spectrum are sometimes very, very difficult, especially when you're in the rural areas of the country. And so I would love to pick your brain and kind of figure out what were some of the paths you took, and what was Max's experience with all of this stuff.
Ooh, who wants to go first, Max?
I say you. If you're
You're
gonna have
You
be
didn't know.
more Gary than I am.
Yeah, you didn't know it. We had to find out. He was, well, first of all, he didn't. He was the happiest baby in the world. Happiest baby in the world. Great
That should have been the telltale sign that
Yes.
something's wrong right out of the chute. Because I might have the
Something's
opposite
right,
child. I have
honestly.
opposite child. Yeah.
Yeah, no, he's always laughing and smiling. And but he didn't walk for quite a while or crawl. What did you do, Max?
I rolled.
Yeah, Max, roll, baby.
That's awesome.
rolling.
But every time, whatever we saw, whatever he did or didn't do, we just thought, oh my God, it's so cute. It's so cute.
And you were right,
and
by the way.
you don't know. And then it was in, I think it was in school. It was preschool. And one of the teachers came up to me and said, you might want to have Max checked. My daughter is a therapist or psychologist or something, and says that Max might have Asperger's, and which is a form of on the spectrum. And immediately my ex and I, we got we found a wonderful woman to test him. And how old are you, Max? You were like, well, I guess preschool, you're like 4?
6, 5 or 6.
4 or 5.
4
4 or 5.
So
And
right
she
around
came
where
back.
our kids are now.
See? And she came back. There was some woman that was in she was in San Francisco. She was from San Francisco, but I guess she was here doing something. So we went to visit her, and she kind of tested him and blah 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 blah. And then the next thing she tells us is, so he has something called nonverbal learning disorder. To which I believe I started to cry.
Yeah.
And she said, well, he's going to need assistance. He's going to need therapy. He's going to, he's going to need help in school and in a lot of things. And so we got him in school. He started kindergarten, and the psychologist there said, if we can get a therapist to come in and give him the strong, yes, this is what he has and he needs help. So we hired this wonderful woman. Max, you remember, because you tell me about what we did to you and her. Do you remember?
She came to school one day, didn't tell me who she was. No, just said our teacher just said, "Oh, she's just here to observe." No, specific mentions, and that was. And then the next day, and then by in a couple weeks, I ended up starting to go see her, on a professional basis.
So he got his IEP because he had it. He had what needed to happen.
And I also got the IEP and all that stuff figured out.
And and what had happened as well was Max was getting
aggressive.
He was always getting in trouble. What?
I was a bit aggressive as a kid.
He said aggressively.
I didn't know how to control my anger.
He didn't know what to do.
I'm still working on him. I'm hanging on by a thread.
Are you working on it, Jamie?
Yeah,
No, I'm not. I'm actually trying to accelerate it as quickly as possible. I'm trying to shoot through the atmosphere.
It's hard for some people, and especially when they don't know what to do with their emotions. And so I would pick him up from school, from kindergarten, and every day I would pick him up, and his name would be where everybody can see it. His name would be with a couple of other people's names. Bad. The child was bad today. He tried to hit someone or bite someone. He tried to all this kind of stuff, and he would always feel horrible.
Did they put this on the wall? They were putting this up.
Yes. There was a little chalkboard, and they wrote. And if you did something wrong, you would have your name written down. And if you had extra stuff, you would get a tally mark next to it, and you would have to stay after school for a little bit, or
I need the name and number of all of the teachers who did this.
It was horrible. It was clearly this teacher did not know what was going on, right? That is when we brought in the therapist, and the therapist said, of course, Max doesn't know what to do because he's getting bullied. They are ridiculing him. He can't catch a ball. He's this, he's that. So they would get in his face and name him, right, Max?
Yeah.
Remember? And what did you do?
I retaliated physically.
Yeah.
And
Also,
so,
yeah, don't come for me unless I call for you. Thank you very much.
Yes.
So,
and so the therapist, yes.
Oh, go ahead. Well, I was going to say, what age did he start talking?
It took him a while. Okay.
I had to go to speech therapy.
He had to go to speech therapy. Once Max got his, whatever it was, him talking, you have not been able to shut him up.
Nope, not at all.
That's me from sun up, Max. The second the sun comes up.
Now, Jason, are your boys talking?
So they say about 25 words each. The younger one does maybe about 40. The one that was born first, about 25. We are starting. We have been pushing to get them into ABA therapy because everybody here has been kind of saying, that's what they need. And we've actually had to physically, we've had to go to schools and talk to so many different administrators and people in our state and government officials. They were going to try and bus our kids almost 2 hours away every day.
Where are you? Where are you?
I'm just slightly north of Scranton.
Okay.
So it's...
You're telling me their names. You give me their address. We'll find them.
I want to use you. I want to use
you. So they wanted to bus our kids 2 hours away, and they were going to do this every day. And the winters are terrible here. So we were, it was just not acceptable. And so we pushed and pushed and pushed. And through the teaming of us with our doctors and the school, we were able to get Brandon.
Hey, cool, Brandon.
Brandon comes to every show. We love him. He talked. He loves
Brandon. I didn't know if you wanted me to say anything or not, but I'm glad you said it for yourself because it's your story to tell. But we love that about you, Brandon, and we love having you here every week.
He's a huge animator, and he's a huge fan, and that's why he knows you from all the voice stuff, especially Loud House, because I do Loud House as well. And when we have Carlos Alazraqui on,
yes,
yes. So it's great. He loves the voices of that.
And Max, when you see someone like that introduces himself and says, I'm also autistic, how does that make you feel?
It makes me feel good that people like me are willing to represent themselves and be open with who they are, and how that's getting better nowadays. And because back in school.
Oh, Max, you shut off your mic.
There we go.
God,
you got it.
Not again.
It's okay.
We got you.
You're back.
You were saying
I have issues with this mic. It's going to cut in and out. So
that's all right.
I had to buy a whole new system. Don't worry, Max. You're good.
Yeah, but yeah, I really do appreciate when people come out and say these things, and because back when I was in elementary school, I was the only person with my specific disability. And I was like one of the first in the entire state. So there was like a very new experience for all of them.
That's fantastic.
Max, I'm actually a 4th and 5th grade special ed teacher. So of my 10 student caseload, I have 4 with either a primary or secondary diagnosis of autism. And it very much is a spectrum. And you are very clearly on a very next level, high functioning version of that. But I will say that the other day, one of my boys was saying, he said to me, he said, "Oh, Miss Kate, I know somebody who has autism." And I was like, "Oh, really? Who is that?" And I thought he was going to say himself. And he was talking about some girl named Lily. And I said, "Oh, that's so cool. Do you know anyone else with autism?" And he said, "Nope, just Lily." And I thought,
okay, live your life.
So I will say, I do think there is something to be said, and I don't know if you feel this way about it, but autism wasn't a bad word in your house, was it?
No.
Yeah.
No, it was once we found out I was diagnosed, it was gung ho from there,
Yeah.
and I was very well taken care of, even
And
if
that
I
let-
didn't like everything in
Yeah.
hindsight by my school and my parents and
Yeah.
Well, we also
your
had to
mom hard
take
on you?
him.
Go
What?
ahead. No, I was going to say, were you hard on him? Like, what was the structure and routine like for you guys?
Well, what we had to end up doing, and this was before he started, I think, school, Max. Max had some spatial problems and he had some balance problems. And so there was a place out here. Do you remember the name of that place, Max?
Can Do Kids.
It was called Can Do Kids. And we took him there. I didn't wait for the school to look into it or pay for it. I had the money at the time, and it was like, let's get him in there and let's start right away. And you know, they were doing things. They would, he couldn't write. They were doing it, kind of balancing things, and we fell in love with the place, and he did it for several years, right, Max?
Yeah.
And I don't know. Did you like it?
Yeah, I did. There were some things I liked, some things I didn't in hindsight, but I was just like this dumb little kid, so it was like I didn't really care.
You were happy. You were always happy.
I will say, Max, I was diagnosed neurodivergent myself. I've ADHD, and when I was growing up, I didn't have an ability to read or retain any information at all. And through high school, Mindy, you probably know exactly what I'm talking about. My high school grade showed me I almost got held back.
I almost got sent back in my final year of high school to a different school for people who had issues with things, because along with the disability, I kind of just stopped caring.
Well, of course, that'll happen
makes
too.
Sense. Absolutely, yeah.
When you're having a hard time. And what helped me is, it seems like what's helped you is that somebody telling you this is what is the issue, and then saying here's where you can learn better. You know, instead of if you need to learn, if you need to retain information, my retaining was audio. So what I found out is I went to a community college and I just taped the whole session. And then instead of taking notes, I would listen to my professor back in the car and on my way to the next class. And from college on, I was an A student. But before college, I was a failing student because I had dyslexia. I couldn't read and retain. And when somebody said, "Oh, well, you just learned this way," and your ADHD means that it's adding to the fact that you're not going to sit and you're not going to ever retain things that way. Once that turned on, man, that lit up. Do you remember where everything lit up for you, Max, where you're like, oh, now I get it. This is some things that started to help for me. Like, what were some things that actually helped?
Here's the thing. It always depended on what sort of class I was taking. Like, math and science were never going to work.
Yes.
Because I'm not a visual learner.
Yes.
And that's all equations and all like specific diagrams, and that's the only class I had in high school that I took special ed, math.
Brother, so did I.
Everything else. That was my only struggle.
Yeah.
And it was like, but yeah, like I just really tried to cling on to the stuff that I knew was going to work for me. Things like history, English.
Yeah. Again, the retention.
I took film my final 2 years.
See, people find it in different ways. So Brandon said there's a great documentary called Life Animated. And it's about a boy with autism who can communicate through Disney movies. And he's now an animator.
Have you seen
him, it is like you've seen on 60 Minutes people who can hear the piano and just play it perfectly. And Justin, you're the same with voices, man. Like you hear someone and you can mimic it, which is kind of a unique skill.
It's part of neurodivergency and people with autism. Same thing. It's called mirroring or something like that, where you're trying. Or please help me with this, Max and Mindy. Where you're copying somebody else.
Mimicry.
Mimicry, right?
Well, let's do it this way. How would Jeff Bridges explain this?
Man, the problem is that nothing makes sense unless I'm hearing it, and if I have a beverage, I have no beverage here, man.
That's amazing.
I love you guys.
Amazing.
I had when something clicks like that, like I'll remember it forever, but it has to be attached to audio. It has to be attached to audio. If it's not, it's almost like it didn't happen to me. If you ask me to read something and then tell it back to you, it's impossible. But if you give me someone reading at 100 miles an hour with a little musical cue to it, I can repeat that back to you.
Yeah, that's crazy. It's crazy.
Now, see, that's so interesting because I think I have ADHD, but my whole life was about I had no focus. I couldn't retain. I still can't retain something I read. I visually, when I learn lines, which is really hard for me, I have to visually see them, not audible. So in other words, if somebody wants to go, Mindy, say the grass is greener, so make sure that you bring your ping pong ball. I'll go, okay. And then I get all this anxiety and I go, the grass is green. What is it again? So that's what I go through, which is my disability. And so
but
everybody has,
Mindy, that probably fuels your excellence in the world of improv.
I was just thinking
I'm kind of like that too.
That's absolutely why
my friends give me grief because I paraphrase movies all the time, like even Casino, The Godfather. I'll say the line and someone will go, dude, that's somewhat close, but I'm a paraphraser. So in the world
make
of
him an
improv,
offer you might not like.
That's exactly what I do. Like, what are you talking about? And Bunin, my buddy Mike Bunin, gets so mad. He goes, dude, and he has it verbatim. And I'm like, Johnny, even songs, I'm singing lyrics. I don't know anything.
Anytime that I have to go now, because I'm getting older, so it's, I have great anxiety over it. And I had asked a friend of mine who has known me over 50 years. We grew up together as kids. And I said, was I always like this? And she said, yes, you were always unfocused. Yeah. You couldn't concentrate. And it was like, wow, because I keep thinking, what's wrong with me? What's wrong with me? Why aren't I, But so now it's like figuring out how can I get through that. Cue cards.
Ear prompters. Look, Brando, they have the famous picture of Robert Duvall holding the lines. I've done it. I put the lines up when I do a self-tape. No one can tell.
Yeah. I won't say who it was, but I worked with a very famous actor, and he said that 6 very, very famous actors, and he named them all, were like, yeah, we all use earwigs.
Earwigs or cue cards all the time. I
think you want to hear that more and more, because what happens for me is an ego thing, and you think, I am not good. I am not good enough. I'm embarrassed. I'm embarrassed that I can't, but boy, and then I also go, you know what? All I need is one take, one good take.
That's it.
Right.
That's what I think it also fuels you in that same way, Mindy. I think some people can't let go to act and be in the moment. And so the same way I kind of have that focus where I can always, like, to the point where, like, my wife's like, nobody ever knows if you're speaking the truth, the way, like, I just say words and people don't. And in the same way of letting yourself go, I think when you do performances like that, especially on stage at the Groundlings, I mean, you guys, it was like an all-star cast up there, people just riffing on each other, and to watch it, it's mesmerizing.
I'm telling you, there's nothing more that I love than improv, and anything that I get, especially if it's an indie film, which I've done a lot of, I'll say, can I improvise? Oh my God.
Did it scare you in the beginning? Did improv scare you in the beginning?
Oh my gosh, what? I don't know.
The only reason I ask is because I came from stand-up, where I would kind of plan out what I was going to say, or at least have an outline. And the first time I ever tried improv, I was flop sweating, because I was like, I have to be funny. I have to be funny. I have to be funny. And because that's the mindset of comedy. But then you get into improv and you're like, the audience sees it in a different way, in that they know you're doing a high wire act. And so they are more, they're amped with you, like, oh my God, what's going to happen? Whereas stand up, I've always felt like the audience kind of goes like, all right, let's see what he wrote. Let's see, funny man,
But it has to
And-
look like you didn't write it. It has to look like
Right.
very, very off the cuff. And the thing about improv with me is that is the only time I can actually say that I'm in the moment, that I am
Mm.
listening,
Totally agree.
because I'm not thinking. I have too many crazy thoughts going on in my head all the time. I'm not
just
thinking
listening.
of anything but that moment.
And you're listening to what the people are saying because you know you have to respond appropriately. You can't
Absolutely.
just say the next line. It's so funny, Justin. I would get more nervous if I had to say a line than I would walking out not knowing any lines. I felt so much more comfortable in improv walking out and going,
yeah,
I can say whatever I want.
I'm much more
No one can
comfortable
stop me.
without
Say
a
whatever I
script.
want.
Yeah.
But if I was
Wow.
like, that's why. So I wrote this one-man show that I ended up putting up, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to do this like a theater play. And the first night, I ate it. I said it verbatim the way I had written it, and it didn't connect, and I was off.
That never works for me.
And the next night, I threw it away. I had it all in there, but I paraphrased it. I went off on tangents. I came back, and it was magic. And that's just the way I work. I wish your life was so much easier when you just go say these words and like Gaffigan.
I know.
These comics. I wish I could be like that. It's hard for me.
I wouldn't want to do a stand up just because I want to have a partner.
Mm.
I wouldn't.
Wait, so that makes you feel better? That makes you feel better? That makes you feel better, Mindy?
I need a partner.
Once the problem with stand up is you have to do the setup and the punch. But when you have the partner can, there's a give and go. But yeah.
Hey,
I was sort of,
go ahead.
I was gonna say I have a sort of unpopular opinion. And maybe it's not unpopular, but I just feel like we're not hearing enough from Max now.
I agree. I thought the same thing.
Could we just? I'm sorry, you guys. It's really
Max
cool
likes
that
to
you
get
guys
involved.
all were scared about doing improv or
I
weren't.
agree.
But also,
I agree.
we've got Max here, people.
Max did
Max,
improv.
Improv.
Yeah.
Well,
Max,
so
your
I'm
mic
very
is off
curious.
again.
Max,
Your mic.
I'm very curious to know, Max.
Yeah.
I'm very curious to know what it feels like to be. So, first of all, because there is a spectrum that we know of, right? There are some people who actually don't mind attention being on them, and there are plenty of people on the spectrum who do not like it. So I'm wondering where you fall, and also what it feels like to have a mother like you do, who does get a lot of attention because she is a famous person, and how you feel about her amount.
I mean,
her
246
work of-
credits.
I know. Like, how do you feel about her work? What's that like for you to watch it all?
I feel good about her work, and I know she loves getting attention.
Shady.
What a
I
great
am a
backhanded
whore.
compliment.
I am a
just
horror
worked with
fan.
a cameraman when fans want to take pictures with her, and I just deal with the fact I have a famous mother. But I do like getting on stage.
You do? Interesting.
I have done music. I have done stand up. I have done improv. I was almost in a film once, but yeah, I have no issues with stage fright. I've been known to have good stage presence. So
You got a good stage presence, better than Jamie's.
Way better, honestly. I'm not saying much, but yes, that's true.
I also want to know, Bud, is what type of music? Is it any instruments did you play, or is it singing?
I'm a singer.
Yeah,
And that's what I originally went to. I went to a music school for college
Mm.
for like 3 months, and then that did not work out.
We have buried the lead here, folks.
We have buried the lead.
But yeah, I sing like rock, metal, punk.
That's awesome.
I performed at NAMM.
Can you,
Oh my God.
Hey, Max,
I know NAMM.
I hate to do this to comics, but could you tell us a joke or two that it's from?
This was
your act?
years ago, so no.
Okay.
Correct.
No, honestly, wonderful timing on that comeback.
What
to
a
be fair,
Newhart response.
That was
Could
a pretty
you,
scorching.
could you tell us what's
comeback.
happening?
That was
No.
years ago, so no, that's not.
I
gonna
mean,
happen.
I thought you were going to ask him to sing, and I was like, oh, I wanted to do that too.
I
but
would
didn't
love
wanna
to
put
hear
on
him
the spot.
sing. Do you play an instrument as well?
No.
Well, he said the singing is that's the hardest instrument by far.
It's
No, because of my disability, I have not the best motor skills, so I have a hard time like writing. So that's why I didn't pick up like an instrument or anything like that. I do, however, if I could, I would learn to play the bagpipes. Unironically,
Bagpipes.
and mom wants to kill me
Unironically.
for doing that because she played them once on a TV show and she knows it's hard.
They're very hard.
I didn't
We used
play
to
it.
have
I
them in
looked
the
like
Irish
I played
bar.
it.
She mimed it.
If it's a hard instrument to mime, it's a very hard instrument to play.
Oh, it's not good.
I can't even imagine.
Because the piccolo is easy to mime,
Max's stand-up was so funny because it was so him. It was there was no
Zero
transitions.
transitions.
Yeah, go on, Max.
And I would just go joke, 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 line. Just start a story and be like, so anyway.
It feels like that's got a
Just go
little
in a
Mitch Hedberg
completely
to it.
different direction.
Yeah, little Stephen
And
Wright.
nothing
just
would
pure-
connect.
That's awesome.
It's funny. My experience, and I know that it's, people with autism are not a monolith, but my experience with people with autism is that a really great feature of it is honesty. And sometimes that honesty can be brutal, but
Yes.
I feel like that is probably what makes you such a great artist, just in general, Max, is that you are not getting up there doing some sort of tap
I'm
dance
not
that
gonna
you think.
I'm not gonna BS people.
Yes.
Mm-mm.
That's right. Exactly. Like
You'll be
I
you'll
feel
be
like
the
that.
only one then.
Yeah.
That's the rare quality that will come out.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
The problem is you expect the same authenticity from others.
Yes.
Mm.
And we don't get it from others.
And
You
you
will be
don't
let
get
down.
it.
No.
Well, that is interesting. Do you feel that when you're dealing with people who are not on the spectrum, that they are being inauthentic often?
Sometimes. But
Can you
yeah,
can you
it's
sniff it out?
it's
Can you sniff it
definitely-
out?
Which one of us, Max?
Yeah.
Again, this is just gonna cut in and out, so
Oh no.
You need to get a new one.
I need to get a new headphones
It's okay.
or a mic or something. But yeah,
I'm holding my microphone on a lighter, as you can see.
But
We're going
yeah,
Bob Barker style.
Well, Max, from that headphone and mic and chair setup, are you a gamer?
yes.
Oh,
What's your
no.
jam?
Talk to me,
What
talk
do
to
you
me, talk
play?
to me.
What do you?
Oh,
What's
these-
the-
what you-
I'm
what you
not,
play,
but
Max?
Play a
there's
lot
some
of real-time
gamers in this group.
strategy stuff like Hearts of Iron 4 and like play a lot of fighting games.
Okay, so far I haven't heard you name any Nintendo game because I know serious gamers aren't really into the Nintendo Switch, but
I haven't owned a Nintendo console since the GameCube.
so
Jesus
you don't know
Christ.
Breath of the Wild, Max? You don't know Breath of the
I
Wild?
know of Breath of the Wild. I just haven't bought. I just don't own it.
Wouldn't
Okay,
waste
so-
my time
Play
on
it,
that,
I just
Mulligan.
I just don't own it.
So I just want to say, Max, love everything
The
about you, but we're gonna want to get you some Breath of the Wild. Okay, gonna need to get yourself a Switch. I know that you're not gonna like the
I've
frame
considered
rate.
buying a Switch, but I have nowhere to put it.
Thank you, Katie.
It's
Well, they're travel size. You'd be
it's-
okay.
It is a very travel-friendly gaming
Yeah.
system, Max. Usually it's my friends who don't want to actually talk to me on the road who bring the Switch with me. And they're like, "Hey, Justin, Switch," and just to shut me up.
If I was to get a console, I'd probably get a Steam Deck. But
Oh.
Nice.
Okay.
Jeez,
I
this
just-
guy's serious.
I just feel like if you're somebody, do you like open world?
no,
Okay, then you're gonna
I'm
hate Breath of the
very
Wild. Never mind.
limited on what sort of games I like.
Never mind. Never mind. Sorry.
Mindy, have you
Does
done
anyone
games?
want to ask me what I play? Nothing.
I don't.
She's actually been
I'm
in
the
a game.
same.
She's
I'm the
actually
same.
been in a game.
Scrabble. I'll play Scrabble. Mindy,
Oh
have
my
you
God.
Actually,
voiced?
I do play Scrabble. I'm horrible.
She's
Have you
been
voiced
in a
many
game.
games,
Huh?
Mindy? Have you voiced many games?
Not games.
Yeah, no,
No.
yes, you have. Yes, you have.
Not a lot.
She was Aunt May in the Spider-Man 2 video game.
Oh.
See, Mindy, you
I don't
forget.
remember, I don't remember.
I hope it wasn't open world.
I was
'cause there's no
literally there
chance
for the
Max played it.
recording.
It
session,
is open
so I do
world.
remember this.
Oh,
He
man.
remembers.
That's amazing.
That's funny. Hey Max, do you have other memories of like being on set while your mom was working? And
I
what was that
remember
like?
being chased by Mike Myers dressed as Dr. Evil.
Oh.
On Goldbergs.
Honestly, was it funny or was it terrifying?
It was a mix of both.
Was he like,
Wait, what kind of things did he say to you while he's chasing?
Actually,
No,
Justin,
I
what
don't
did he say?
remember that part, but
Justin,
Quick question. Could I come over here for a second? Got a little problem. Where's your mother? Okay.
Oh, that's great. Oh my God.
I'll tell you, Max, your mother's was it the one with Fat Bastard was my first impression I ever did when I was a kid, was Fat Bastard. That was I did it at a middle school talent show. I think I was like, oh, get in my pants, no. So I think it was like my very first.
Get in my belly.
Yeah, get in my belly. Yeah, exactly.
Anybody else feel that flex that Justin just gave us about how young he is?
What I was gonna say really quick.
Excuse me.
What's happening?
Middle school.
Excuse me. Middle school.
Gun show.
40 years. I have no guns, and I am old. All right, ish. I'm not in my youth. There is no
You
youth
guys are the
left.
same
That
age.
came out.
Nobody is
I'm in my
here.
40s. I'm in my 40s. Come on now.
Oh, don't even start with me.
Don't even start with Mindy. She'll kill you. She'll kill you, man.
Max, how old am I?
She is 70.
No.
You lie through your teeth.
I was shocked. I wasn't going to say it, but I just had IMDb open. I was like,
Wait,
Did you see it?
Damn.
70.
wait, I need
70.
all of
Wow.
I need all of the serums.
I know,
What are we
I
doing?
know.
What are
It's
we
not
doing?
serum.
all
Yeah,
this?
you know,
she-
Glasses.
She charged 46
lots of
credits.
different
She
things.
takes really good care of herself.
That's it. Yeah.
Well, I need
well, you
the
know, big
recipe.
stars, Kate, when you're a big star like that, what they do is they cryogenically freeze you between gigs. So
Is
she
this
shoots a
AI? Are we
Goldberg.
just dealing with AI?
She shoots a
right
Goldbergs
AI.
and then just put her on ice again for like 3 weeks until they need her again. Then they unfreeze her and bring her back. So
Yeah, I
she's
got
really
nothing else
like
to do.
physically only 31 years old. She's
Right,
been frozen
technically.
for the other
Truly.
39 years.
Like Dr. Evil.
Yes.
They
Actually-
just freeze.
See?
Just freeze her.
Freeze again,
man. What?
Max,
I'm to
how
Sammy
old are
Davis
you?
Jr.
It's man, creepy why am I shut my eyes?
Sammy?
I can't hear it.
They
Who
kind of
can
look
take a
similar.
sunrise?
Sprinkle it with dew.
Max, tell them the one person that you what do you call it? You did an
Well,
impression of.
I took an
Impersonate?
improv class once, and they had made us come up with impressions to bring in for 1 week. And me,
Mhm.
being a huge fan of Whose Line Is It Anyway, decided to do Carol Channing.
Oh.
I can see that. I would have been the one I would have picked for you. That would have been the first one I picked for you. I would have said Max, Carol Channing.
Whose
I
line
could
is
have been
whose line
given
is
500
Carol
chances,
Channing?
and I never would have guessed
I
Carol
would have never
Channing.
got Carol Channing.
I-
Channing.
I
Mom
need
has
to
made me
see
a very
this.
cultured individual.
Well, Max, you can't set that up and not pay that one off. We
I
have
need
got
Carol
to hear some
Channing
Carol
now.
Channing.
It's been years.
It's
Oh, we
okay.
don't
Just
care.
try it anyway.
You're amongst friends and Jamie.
You gotta
Carol
try it
Channing
anyway.
ordering a coffee.
Well, we
Keep going.
I would like a single malt hazelnut cream added venti and a soy drip.
Come on the road with us. Coming on the road
Yeah.
with us, brother.
Get
That's
yourself
awesome.
a lighter microphone. We're going.
Yeah.
Oh my
Channing.
God.
I
love it.
Oh my God, Max.
So funny.
Max, how old
Mindy,
are
do
you?
you
I'm
do
28.
impressions, Mindy? Who's your? I mean, you must have.
No,
Never a one at
Never,
the ground.
never,
rules?
I
never
don't do
one.
accents or impressions.
I do accents, but I never,
Yeah.
never an impression. I never did it in the groundlings. I was never anyone that it just didn't come that easy to me. So I always had my own characters.
Let me ask, as a voice guy, I'm always curious. I don't do impressions unless you tell me somebody who has that accent. How do you learn an impression? Meaning, so like
Me?
if somebody
You mean-
says,
You
yeah, Mindy, yeah, I mean, like when
I
someone
don't
says
do
do
an
a London.
impression.
No, I'm saying an accent. When someone says do a London accent to me, I say, who's from London?
Yeah.
And they say,
Christian Bale.
this Christian Bale. And then I'm like, okay, I'm going to give you Christian Bale's London accent.
Yeah.
Because I
Well,
don't
what
know
I'll do-
how.
Yes, what I will do is, I sort of can fall into those kind of things. My dad was an entertainer, and he did all these kind of accents and stuff. But he didn't do impressions, so I kind of fall into it pretty easy. Some of them I have to hear, so I'll go to YouTube and
Mhm.
hear, this kind of accent. And when you do video, I pick up a lot from that kind of stuff. But yeah, it seems to be a little easier for me. I'm going to tell you that my Russian and my German are probably very similar, because people want me to do, Frau. So, I try not to, I try to make it a little different, and, but, yeah, but I've never done impressions. Just are not that easy for me, and I love hearing and seeing people perform that, though.
That is so cool.
I was the same. It must have been frustrating because back in the day, like I remember going in for Mad TV, and they were like, "What impressions you got?" And I go, "It's not really my jam." And they're like, well, "What are you doing here?" And I was like, "I don't know what I'm doing here. I don't know what I'm doing."
I remember going in to Mad TV. I remember going in, and I don't even remember what I did. And there was all these people there, and I just remember doing, my characters and blah, 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 blah. But all I can remember, and which is, I have a horrible memory, but I'm pretty sure this is true. I looked at them when I was done, and they all were like this.
Yeah, it's so weird because I had the same audition with them.
Thank you so much, Mindy. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Every time I went in a couple times to them, and each time they'd be like,
"That
"How
is
about
the
those
worst
impressions?"
thing
And it
when
was
they're
like
paying attention. The worst thing when they're paying attention.
And then they'd go, "You got anything else?" And it would be just another dude from Boston who was like, "How about a Dunkin' Donuts?" And they go, "Is that Jay Leno?" Get no, it's Phil from Narragansett. It's a different person. They don't have any other. They go, "It could be Conan O'Brien-ish, I guess, but it's mostly Jay Leno." So I did the same. I had like all these crazy characters that did stuff, and they were like, "Yeah, next." And then I finished the audition. They were looking at me the exact same way. I was like, "Thank you. See ya."
Well, see, that's what's so funny to me is I've never been able to come up with something original. You know what I'm, and I'm meaning that when Saturday Night Live called, they were like, I gave them 17 impressions. And at the end of my 17 impressions, I heard one of the writers go, "You got any characters?"
Yeah.
Oh.
And I went,
Yeah.
I don't know how to make something up out of thin air. I was like, "No, you just give me somebody, I'll mimic them, and let's get on with it." And the guy before me was Pete Davidson. So I was like, "Oh, well, there's a guy who's just himself, right?"
Yeah.
No, there is no character, but he is himself, and he is definitely himself. And the opposite was me, who is never himself. I didn't have himself.
You do so many other characters. Yes.
Yeah.
Right. I've learned over the years, but I'm always interested by people who like you guys who have come up with a character. And then
like
that
Phil
character,
Hartman or somebody like that,
right? And then that character is the thing that's mimicked. That blows my mind because I'm the guy who mimics. It's
a lot
nice
of
to talk to
times.
the
Here's
people
what
who create
happens: is like when I don't know about you, Mindy, but if I created a character, it was me doing a terrible impression of somebody. Like they would say, "Do George C. Scott in an improv class," and I'd be like, "I'm George C. Scott." Didn't sound anything like George C. Scott, but all of a sudden, it was a whole new character. And you were like, "Oh, this is Scott."
Well,
George.
I think that's sort of funny too, and that is a way to come up with original characters because I think the one that people said, "Oh, do Joan Rivers." Oh, isn't that wonderful? Oh, but it's like it's terrible. It's terrible.
It's spot on, actually. It's pretty spot on.
But what you can do is if you were in a class, I would tell you to do something, you would do it, and then we would just conform it so it's like have a higher pitch. I just didn't have that ear, but I was always fascinated. Always, Rich Little was, oh my God, loved him.
Straight up impressions. But I met Linda Richmand, who is
Linda
Mike
Richmond.
Myers.
Yeah,
is doing Coffee Talk. That's just a straight up impression of this other woman.
Totally.
And then everyone's like, "Oh, that character you do is great." And everyone's like, "Well, that's her." And when you hear her, you're like, "Oh my God, it's so spot. It's exactly her." Yeah. And that's his character.
That is
he's not impersonating. Just stop impersonating famous people. Impersonate the dude at Starbucks and give him a name.
That's where you get it. Right. That's where you get
back to Max, though. We got to get back to Max.
Max.
I was like, guys, I don't want to do this again.
No, it's fine if you guys want to talk shop. I'm not.
Well, we need to get into some wrestling because Jason is very excited to talk wrestling with Max.
Max,
yes.
First of all, what's your favorite era of wrestling?
That's That's hard to personally to really get into because there's specific things in specific eras.
Okay, I'm listening.
I'm very much like an 80s Mid-South.
Oh, okay.
It's very specific, by the way. That's very
80s,
specific.
Early 90s.
The
Guys like
Hacksaw,
Bruiser Brody,
Jake the
Abdul
Snake.
Butcher, and then
Who was your favorite, Max, when you were growing up and you were little? And I'll tell you what.
I was a big Goldberg guy when I was a kid.
WCW, baby.
I dressed up as him. I actually own an NWO Wolfpack shirt.
But that's the
That
great
is so
thing about
awesome.
him loving these, all of these wrestlers, that's all I would buy him for holidays. Would be like, here's a new wrestler. Here's a new wrestler.
Is that
And I
right?
love it. He has
I have a whole collection behind me. That's of wrestling figures out of the box, so they're not worth anything. But
What
Good.
appealed?
Play
what
with them.
appealed to you about the show of wrestling?
Yeah,
I'm
because Max,
intrigued by that.
I
Pure-
hate to
pure
call you bluff,
escapism.
but I'm sorry. I was gonna say I hate to call your bluff, but it's not very genuine. It's the opposite. It's a lot of performative stuff. That's right.
You
I said
hold
it.
your tongue, Kate.
I'm just
I
saying.
drank a bear.
Oh,
I
he
was
knows.
I know.
I drank
know it's
another
fake.
bear.
I know.
What?
It's
I drank
scripted,
another
scripted.
bear.
Yeah.
No, we went.
I'm not
He knows
full
what
on.
it was
It's
about.
still real to me, damn it.
Mulligan's wrecks. She wrecks everything. She just
She's a ruiner.
ruin her. She'll tell you the end of movies too. Don't you do Hulk? There's a little Hulk Hogan in there somewhere, isn't there?
I do Stone Cold Steve Austin. I do Dwayne The Rock Johnson. Those are my two good ones.
Okay.
So Dwayne Johnson, yeah, Stone Cold.
I drank a bear. What? I drank another bear. Why? Because Stone Cold said so. And that's the bottom line.
There you go.
That was good.
That's really
Max.
good.
That's
That's really good, man.
You know, it's fun. I love the wrestlers because they were orators. You know,
They're
Max,
performers.
yeah, I love the
Yes.
speeches. You know, and the speeches were just, you know, Dwayne Johnson's speech, the greatest trash talker. You know, that's gonna be. It doesn't matter. You know, he just that all of the very prognosticating. You know, just to the hilt. I love the performance of it. You know,
How do you not
Exactly.
do Hulk Hogan, brother?
I don't.
Hey, brother. I've never done a Hulk Hogan, brother.
But yeah, not much.
That was
Hey,
good.
you know, it's funny.
you
Jesse the Bot.
Max, can you do Hulk Hogan for us?
Yeah.
What you gonna do when Hulk Hogan runs wild on you, brother?
Brother.
We're the
gotta put him on
Hogan. The pythons. 22-inch pythons. That's right.
Oh my god, I kind of want all of us to mute our microphones and just have like Stone Cold Steve Austin talk to Hulk Hogan for a bit. Can we have
Oh
that
my
happen?
God, that would be so great. I love that.
How you
Okay,
doing,
Max,
brother?
Let's not do it. Let's not do it.
Yeah, sorry, Kate. She's like,
No,
I'm done.
Max, tell him what you want to do.
I'm trying to become a wrestling commentator, and I'm trying to start a podcast about wrestling.
I know
Any help
all of
from
them.
Anybody? Yeah.
Well, I do. I am friends with Freddie Prinze Jr., who is a segment producer for them. And
Really?
I do know
He's no longer
I
with
do-
WWE. He's no longer with them.
he was been working with AWE. So
Then that's not
in the
news that's been out there. That's news to me.
I will also say this. But I have a few other. I won't mention who they are now because I'm worried about saying something I'm not supposed to. But I can get you hooked up with some wrestling announcers. They are the best. And Freddie's still connected, so we can introduce you there, and he can introduce you to everybody. He always goes to Raw here in LA. Have you ever been?
We actually went to WrestleCon this year when it was in
Oh my
LA,
God. That's
and
awesome.
we became friends with Colt Cabana.
Woo, very nice.
That's
And
awesome.
he said, if you guys ever want tickets to an AEW show, just let me know. And,
Boom,
yeah.
boom.
Okay, so this is a family show. Let me ask you this question: who do you consider the greatest pro wrestling family of all time?
In terms of talent, I'd say like the Rhodes.
Okay.
Dusty.
Dusty, Dustin, and Cody.
Yeah.
And then like after that,
Players?
I would say the Hearts, obviously.
Oh. Wow, the Hitman. And so you don't think the Flares have it? I mean, the poor
Flares is only
thing.
2. Hearts is like
I know.
8.
I would have gone.
I know,
with
but
the
it was
Samoans.
is a father-daughter in the Flares, you know. So that was interesting at least.
Max,
Hey, Mindy, do you feel out of this like I do? I don't know. What's
No,
happening.
because I love
He
when
knows.
he gets really passionate
It's great.
about all of these things, and he's going to.
I should have done some
wrestling.
research. I should have watched some wrestling today. I always think it should have like a more Shakespearean tone as the announcer. Like maybe an Alan Rickman would host the wrestling.
Oh,
I have seen the death of too many men.
oh my God!
Shall not
He has no clue.
participate in this camaraderie. I don't know.
Wow, that's
Coming up with new ones.
amazing.
So Mindy, we're doing a show this weekend, and Justin's coming with us. He didn't come with us last year, and it's basically, I mean, not to say you're a wind-up monkey, but it is going to be
I am a
the
wind-up
easiest
monkey.
show we've ever done.
Because you're just
I-
going to throw him
Just pause,
things,
just
right?
keep tossing it to him.
Yeah.
Max,
It's gonna be like,
Max.
what would Bill Murray sound like as your guidance counselor?
Quick question. Where do you want to go? What do you want to do? It doesn't matter. You're not doing it. You don't have the grades. Your kid is dumb. I don't know.
Oh my God! I just
It's gonna be
love
the
that.
easiest show I've ever done. Oh my
I can't
God.
do the. I need people though to tell me what to do. You,
Dude, that's my only skill is
Yeah.
telling people what
There
to
he
do.
goes.
Yes, I believe.
Except for my wife and
Just
children
laugh.
who do not do one thing I ask them to do.
Oh.
They will not. It was funny.
Yeah,
I heard
as
Jason
me,
said
he
earlier, it's
does
like my kids
everything
only
he
have
tells me to
25
do.
words, and I feel like Hannah still only says 25 words, and most of them are no. No. Can you get me some food? No.
Do
Like,
they?
that's-
Okay, so Jason, do your boys play together?
They do. In fact, they are inseparable. They do not like being apart. If they are apart for more than 20 minutes, when they come back, they just hold each other until like they have to reconnect the bond. Every night since they were, forever, they just recently, just for safety reasons, we've finally now been able to put them in toddler beds. And now every night one of them gets out of their bed and they sleep exactly how they used to, head to foot in the womb, exactly how they used to.
Oh my
And they do it
God, you
every
gotta
single
love
night.
that. That
I
they
mean, in a
have this.
crazy way, it's kind of cool that they have each other. I wonder if Max, have you ever thought about if you had a twin or so? I've thought about it before to like, I remember as a
Or
kid,
just,
like,
or just
I
another.
like being an only child.
yeah.
And Max,
Good.
tell them what. How did I get you?
I was adopted.
Oh,
I'm not biologically related to my parents.
That's
So
I did
that's
not
what
know
makes
that
him
part.
even more special in my life.
I know.
yeah.
Well, it makes you
absolutely.
even. I mean, it's amazing. It's amazing.
were you always honest with him about that?
Yes, I think he was 5 when my ex and I decided to tell him, and we had given him books and stuff. But there are things about when you're autistic that just are not. It may be something really.
It was
important to you, but I have to
inconsequential
say
to me either
something.
way.
What?
It was inconsequential to me,
Yeah,
really.
it's just like who cares? I don't know. Who cares? All right. So anyway, he just
Yeah.
wants. He's in the now. And so he made it like I was like, well, we just want to tell you something. And we told him, he was just like, okay. All right. So he's on to something else.
Yeah.
well, isn't that? It's almost the way it should be because it's we are the family that we choose. And
Exactly.
the older I get, the more I love the family I choose over the family that was just bestowed upon me.
Yes.
And I
Yeah.
absolutely adore that. That's so, and as all the parents in here, you chose many of you, I guess I'm assuming, chose to be parents. Jason's like, no.
That's not true. No, we had it. I mean,
No,
we
and
chose.
not only was it an oops, I got a biological buy one get one free card.
he had a
You got a
double
BOGO.
oops.
Yeah.
No, I was.
Well, I really
was
do
told
believe
having kids.
I tried having it, wasn't working out, and I wanted to be a parent. So
That's awesome.
yes. And so I believe that I was given the right person in my life, right, Max?
Yep.
And
Absolutely.
that we were meant to be together.
Absolutely.
You do not have to answer this question, either of you, but I know that there's like a sort of a upswing of open adoptions. Was this an open adoption? Has the biological mother and or father ever sought you guys out?
Mother, yes. Father, it's complicated.
Okay.
Don't want to get into that.
We never met the father. We never
Okay.
met the father, but she came out here when Max was 18.
Yeah, and I found out that I actually have half siblings through him.
Oh.
Wow.
Do you have any connection with them?
I do have connection with one who's been trying to get out here, but that kind of has fallen apart for reasons I don't want to get into. But
Okay. Yeah.
but yeah, there's apparently two half siblings.
That's so cool. Was that a very complicated visit, or was that a pretty easy
No.
visit for you too?
No, not really, because she
Yeah.
would send me birthday cards every
She
year.
would. Oh, that's lovely.
Okay.
It wasn't like it's not like I didn't know who she was.
Yeah. Mindy, was that complicated for you at all?
No, because I remember when I said goodbye to her because she came here and I had Max, and she was very sweet. She wasn't a problem. She just knew this wasn't the right thing to do
Yeah.
for her, and it was a one night stand. And so when I said goodbye to her, I gave her this like little angel sort of plaque thing. And we were crying at the airport. And because I said, thank you for giving me this miracle. And we kept in touch. And then she's just gotten, involved in some stuff. And Max, you say, what did you recently about her?
She's kind of. I don't want to really get into.
No, you don't have to get into it, but you're not really talking or
We're
following.
not really talking as much as we
Okay.
used to.
Yeah. Oh,
I mean, it seems like you made out pretty well, Max. I mean, it seems like it's gone pretty well for you.
It probably could have been far worse if I was.
Oh my God. Oh, like big time. How many times do I say you were so lucky that I can't?
Let me ask you,
just
you
like
say
my
it in
mother.
exactly that tone? I feel like you say it in exactly that tone.
Yes. Oh, yes. You are
I mean,
so
I tell
lucky.
my kids that
he
every
comes
day.
by the honesty.
Good thing.
Honestly.
Right, Max? But you know what he says to me? What he says to me all day long? Max?
What line are you looking for here?
I love you, Mom. I love you, Mom.
Which string are we pulling here?
That's
What a
he
Son-mother
says.
conversation.
Out of the blue, he will say, I love you, Mom.
Oh,
I called it. Yeah.
that's so sweet.
My
What
daughter
are you
says it a
looking
lot, but
for?
it's
Is
usually
the great.
My
Go
daughter
ahead.
says it right after she did something horrible.
Yeah.
I'm so angry with her, and I'm just furious. And then she goes, "I love you, Dad," and I go, "I love you too, but I'm still not as much as your sister, but I love you too." It's dwindling. The candle's burning to the end. You're really starting to light me up. And then I took away her snacks this morning. She like blew up on the car ride.
Girl, remember,
And so
girls
I don't even know what to do anymore.
very
She like
hormonal.
smashed the door. She had an outburst. She was kicking so I reached back and I grabbed her lunchbox and I took her like candy, whatever snack she had, took it out. And you're not having that. I don't know why. I don't know why. It's like an immediacy. I don't know what. I'm trying to stop these outbursts. I know. And so I felt so.
What was that?
That's him taking it. I'm taking it.
I didn't eat it.
You should have. I thought that'd be like you. I'm eating it.
I
What
felt
are you
so
gonna do about
bad. I drove back to her school at lunch and gave it to her. That's how.
Okay.
Oh my God.
Did you?
I
You did not.
I did, but here's why. Because
The way you lost the day.
I lost. Oh, I've lost every day.
You took the L there.
But here's what she needed her
yeah.
medicine too. They both she has medicine because they were sick.
No.
And so I veiled it under the guise of she needed the medicine. So I brought her medicine. I gave her medicine. Then on the way out, I was like, here, take this. She had
You're
studied.
not
She
the
had a test
disciplinarian.
today, and she had studied really hard for it. And it was a really good night. And then there was just one outburst at the end, and I just.
It sounds like it was your outburst, Jamie.
Yes.
It's always out, but it's never my outburst. Here's the thing: Ben, our buddy, our social media pal, who's helping with the show, sent me this article this morning that said that yelling at your kids is just as bad as he send that to you? It was just as bad as physical abuse, yelling at your kids. And so I texted him back and said, well, my kid's going to be damaged for life and I'm probably going to jail. I don't know what's
The thing
happening.
is, I can control the physical violence. The yelling just happens sometimes on accident.
Mindy, I don't know what to do. Sometimes I ask her like literally 30 times. And so it starts to build and build and build. And I go, look, and I even say look, please don't make me, I don't want to lose it. I don't want to lose it. I really don't want to lose it. Will you do this? She won't do it. She won't do it. She won't do it. I finally explode and she does it. So I'm like, I go, you're training me to explode. I'm like a chicken when you're giving me a pellet.
Well,
and
okay.
I
So
lose
now,
my
how
mind.
about if you used more of the "I'm so disappointed in you"?
Yeah, soft talk. Ooh, soft. Drop the D
You
word.
are supposed to, because I think that what we do is, and Max and I have gotten some of those, and it's kind of me going, "Get the fuck out of my face." And and
Hannah
then,
knows when I swear, literally when I drop a bomb, she knows. She's like, oh, okay, so he's at the limit. Okay.
And when he drops
And
a bomb
so
at
that,
me, I
you know,
just call
sometimes-
that Tuesday.
And sometimes it's just a matter of get away from me. Just get away from me now because I can't be with you. I can't talk to you.
Well,
And
you're
Max
also
can turn it off, and I
raising him
can't.
by yourself. My wife was gone all weekend, and so I was up at 6 o'clock in the morning, dragging her out of bed to go to a soccer game on Saturday. Then I had to get up at 6 a.m. on a Sunday and drag her to be at a swim meet at 7:20. Yeah. What is happening with children? Children's sports should never be earlier than school. That's insanity.
No, that's insane. That's insane.
Destroyed my whole weekend. And so
Yeah.
I was shaking by the end of the weekend. I was on fumes. And but my wife got back Sunday night and I was like, they're yours. And I clocked
That's
out.
right.
But you don't. You're it's like it was just you, right? I mean, that's
Well,
really-
and he will go into the other room for a while. We both need to just calm down.
yeah.
And it doesn't last long, right, Max?
It doesn't last long, no.
And we were definitely better and better and better with it. And then sometimes too, because he's older, I got to back off.
Yeah.
There's nothing I can do. I can't make him do his room anymore.
His room looks great. If that's his
Great.
room.
Currently.
Okay, you know
Here
why?
today.
Yeah, the cleaning lady was
We
here
had a
today.
maid come in today.
Yeah,
It's
especially
not
with the
normally like
show.
this.
He did a great job letting her into the room. Good job.
Yes, he did. Very good, Max. Well done.
Oh, I've stopped trying to get them to clean their room. I'm over it.
I don't even know how. I don't know how all of you guys do it. I am the only one not a parent in the podcast. But I don't know, Max. Are you a parent yet?
No.
All right, so it's just Max and me.
It's
Um,
By the way, Mindy,
Yeah.
do you know Justin has he has 2 wives?
I have 2 partners. Yeah, 2 female partners. Yeah.
I'm sorry,
2
what?
well, not. Yeah, we're polyamorous. We don't. We're not all married because that would be illegal unless we're in Utah. But we have been together and living together for 5 years. Yeah.
She
He's
said,
in
You
a
really
throuple.
do.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're
I
in a
know,
throuple.
right? Nobody knows we're in a drug.
She
What
said-
does
I'm
that
sorry,
mean?
what?
I don't know what that means.
He's in a throuple.
So polyamory is just
dream.
polyamory means that everybody in the relationship is in love with each other. Polygamy is where a guy has multiple wives. Polyamory
Right.
is we are all attracted and in love with each other. So the 3 of us.
Wow.
It's not
My wife-
Mormonism.
I'm not Mormon. No.
no, because
I
the
don't
2 wives are in love together as well.
Yes.
That's correct. Yeah,
That is
that's the
so interesting. I'm sorry, what?
I
Yeah,
gotta
I know.
tell you, I've just got my first impression ever. It's only one line, but it's Mindy Sterling hearing about Justin Ruppelstruppel, and it's
Please,
this.
let's see it again.
I'm sorry, what?
Such good timing.
That was
Such
beautiful.
Did I hear that right?
It was all right.
I am a household wrestling faction. That's good.
I love that.
If you don't come out to the NWO now music now, Justin, I'm going to be very disappointed.
So funny.
I am a real American. Fight for the rights of every man. That's Hulk Hogan, by the way.
Yeah.
I don't think can we tell anybody and share that, or will they be like, wait, what?
They won't care.
You know what's funny?
This? What is this?
That is Hulk Hogan.
Hogan taunt.
The taunt. He listens to the audience. Yeah.
It's also Mindy's new dance. I'm sorry. What? I'm sorry. What? I'm sorry. What?
Where did that come from?
I'm sorry. What?
That was such an honest reaction, wasn't it? It was so honest. It was beautiful.
It was awesome.
I thought when we started talking about this, to the when we started telling the public that we were in a relationship, that we would get blowback publicly. No one's
just jealous. They're just jealous, really.
Well,
a part of me is like, wait, I didn't know that was available. I didn't know that was a possibility.
Yeah.
But it's different. I mean, I've it's not like I've never heard anything like that, or certainly wouldn't watch anything like that on TV. But I think when you just because I was going to ask you, do you have a child? Because I thought everybody here was parents, and then you were like, no, and then you started telling me about So interesting. Are you going to have a child?
No, it doesn't look like it's going to be in the cards for us. We have pets. That's about as close as we're going to get. My DNA is not constructed for it. We made an attempt and it didn't work.
The funny thing is, it's the perfect relationship to have kids, because even tomorrow night, my wife and I are both out, and it would be great to have that third partner to watch the kids. Like, we don't.
Brother, can I tell you? I'm not going to tell who is. We have a lot of friends who have kids, and they are poly. So that means they have multiple partners.
Can you convince my wife about this? Here's what my wife would be. Absolutely, bring a dude in. That's what my wife. And my wife is like, well, here's
the thing, Jamie. She may be interested already.
Jeff Goldblum just pop out.
Yes, Jamie. Knock knock. Who's there? It's your zaddy. Yes. Turns out you and me and your daughters and your wife and Goldberg here, we'll get together and play a little jazz, figure out our schedules. All right.
Oh my God, that's amazing. I mean, I could hear this stuff all night long. Wow.
But listen, we have got to wind this up. Let's get back to Max for one big finale, and then I've got to yes.
What,
Kate,
Justin? What?
In the front row,
Kate, what?
What?
No, I just wanted to know for Max, because I know autism is not the thing that defines him, but I'm very curious because I care very deeply about 10 kids on various ends of the spectrum. What is the best thing about autism? What is the worst thing about having autism?
Ooh.
The best thing is you don't have to care about anything. Nothing really matters in life. You're able to move on and just like.
He does.
You don't really care about much, and it can lead you into patterns of just not doing anything, just not living life. Like, I'm a 28-year-old, mostly stays in his room all day. That's I have no job.
Max, but we look up to you. You know that, right?
I'm happy. But other people aren't, and I'm just gonna. But I'm doing the best I can with who I am.
It's fantastic.
Do you know how many people are not doing their best? That's
life lesson one. Honestly, that's so funny. That's what I say to my kids all the time, and she goes, "Oh, well," I go, "I don't care about anything except you doing the best you can. That's it, man. Get through this life with as much joy and as little pain as humanly possible. That's the journey."
Jason has something else to say.
I'm in awe of Max because he really puts himself out there. He's got such a great positive outlook. I'm maybe running at 15% of my potential.
That's a little high.
I'd say I'm running at like an 80, but
that's really inspiring, Max, because I don't think I could do that. So I'm in awe of that. I really appreciate that.
And we have to, it's, definitely because I'm the sole parent and the person he's lives with and sees every day, and I will never abandon him. But at the same time, I'm also trying to give him the opportunities and I know how amazing he is in so many ways, that when I leave this earth, I want to know that he can still have this great life, but it's, it'll be without mom. And so, as a mom, you worry about that. So that's just the hardest thing for me. Right, Max?
Yeah.
Well, he's
And
good.
the last
This
question
one's good.
is, I have one last question is, when are we all coming to see you sing? When you going on tour, brother?
Yeah.
When's the album dropping?
That ship sailed a decade ago.
That sounds
No ship
honestly,
has ever
that
sailed.
sounds like the big hit song on the album.
Yes.
That ship sailed a decade
That
ago.
shit has sailed. It sailed.
Decade ago.
I have to
Just
tell you
drink another
something.
beer.
This has been, I just watching, all of you are wonderful, and watching him. And he was so excited today about this. And it's sort of like, God, if he can keep up what he's getting to do with you guys and all these other people, because my friends adore him. And I know he will be taken care of. And also too, I don't want him to be afraid to be able to contact someone, or right, Max?
Yeah.
Or get a hold of someone.
Absolutely.
Go, hey, I'd love to pick your brain, or can I work on anything that do you need any assistance anywhere? That, if it's
People
something
love
that
talking
Max
about themselves,
loves,
Max.
something he loves, he will do it.
Max, when you get ready to do your wrestling podcast, if you need somebody to help you with the production side of it, you reach out to me. I'm glad to help you.
Of course. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Not a problem, buddy.
And please come back. Honestly, this was
I know.
wonderful. I loved having you guys on.
This
I
was
looking
very
forward
fun.
to it all
Thank
week.
you.
Yeah,
for
it was
inviting
so
me.
great, and honestly, really informative. And you talked about earlier when you were little, people didn't really know what you were going through, so they couldn't. I always rip on the internet and say it's the end of times and we're all going to go down. But this is one of the few positive aspects of it, that people kind of see more people and what they're going through and can relate to it easier. And people aren't afraid of like things that are different as much because they understand it a little better. So it was really awesome that you were able to share it. And obviously Brandon's out there. Jason's got 2 sons going through nonverbal. And so I think a lot of people, especially when this goes up as a podcast on iTunes and everywhere else, that I think people will really enjoy listening to it because it was really funny, but also super informative. So thank you for coming on and sharing with us.
And I want to say to Jason that if there is anything that you ever need to talk to me about, or questions or anything of that nature, not that I know everything, but I'm more than happy to give you, some insight or whatever, because I'm very involved in that kind of stuff. And Max is an incredible, he's someone that, really speaks for himself and from the heart. And he will just let you know, like, well, this is hard for us because of this or that, or we like this or we don't like that. So he's also a good person to talk to.
I love that. Thank you guys very much. I will probably take you up on that because
please do.
There's a lot I
Definitely
just
feel
don't
free to
know.
reach out to Mom, and through me, I can definitely help you out with some of the more mental aspects of it all.
Yeah, because it might be nice to get a perspective, what they might be thinking or going through, because you've been there.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but
Really?
Jason, I would not to be a Debbie Downer here, but Max is 1 in a million.
I'm not
This
the
is
same as some of the guys. In fact, I have a hard time getting along with most other autistic people. So
I was gonna say Max probably what's tricky about you moving through the world is that people probably do not peg you as having autism initially.
yeah, I've always stated it as I'm between 2 worlds.
Yeah, because
Wild.
Yeah,
I'm too high functioning to be
Yes.
perceived as autistic, and too
Yes.
low functioning to be perceived as
That's tough.
neurotypical.
That's tough.
I know.
Very wise, Max. Very
Well,
wise,
listen,
my
we can't
friend.
thank you enough. Max, our special guest today, Max, and apparently his mom tagged along. Mindy Sterling. Listen, guys, we love you guys so much. Thank you. We're gonna let you
Thank
go.
you
and then we're gonna
guys. It's
wrap
been
this thing
so
up.
much fun. I love you.
Pleasure meeting you guys, and thank
Love
you
you,
for
Mindy.
having me
Wow,
on.
what's
Bye,
up, Sid?
guys.
Thank you.
Oh, and we dropped them. Max,
Hey,
sorry.
I did it. I wasn't. I don't know,
It's
just-
okay.
Hey, listen, this was super awesome and super fun, and I love doing this. So, Jason, you want to take us out? What do we need to tell people really
Oh
quick?
yeah.
Well, I've heard from 5,000 ads on our local radio station that this Friday and Saturday in Sarah, Pennsylvania, at the Fair Theater, that we be coming to town.
Oh,
We be coming.
so exciting.
There
Also,
are a
Katie
handful
Bam.
of tickets still left. If you go to bcric.ticketleap.com/TPL.
And that's it. If you're listening to this on iTunes or wherever you're on a podcast, we do it live every Tuesday night, visually on StreamYard, on Facebook, Twitch, YouTube. So please come join in, and you can have your comments read out, or just follow along and ask questions for our special guests. Super fun. Kate, wonderful to see you tonight. And honestly, the stuff about you teaching is so, I love it. It's so rewarding.
Yeah,
Pretty cool.
I have
Justin, you happy childless son of a gun. We love you too. Jason,
I'm going to join my two wives. Yeah.
I know you are. And I'm Jamie Kaler. And that is it. We will catch you next time here in the Parents Lounge.
Good night, everybody.
Bye-bye. Toodles.